Welcome back to the podcast that is the chaos of my life. um, so, again, I end up being 3 weeks behind on podcasting because life has gotten in the way of everything to do with social media. With the TikTok ban, I felt, and I'm Canadian, but the TikTok ban felt very overwhelming, and I was trying to find ways to get my content on multiple platforms. So I found an app, it's repurposing all of my content to Snapchat, to YouTube, to Instagram, and a different YouTube. It's just my first and last name on here for the YouTube that's going to have my TikToks on it, because I was like, I need to get my content out to as much people as possible. And with the TikTok ban, I just felt like that wasn't going to happen. And I also felt like I needed to diversify my platforms. So as a content creator, you can choose to just post on one app, but realistically, once this becomes something that you're doing consistently, you want to have multiple platforms because every platform is good for different reasons. Different content performs better on different platforms, and there's different audiences on different platforms. So if you're somebody who wants to create content, that's really important to know. I didn't realize that Snapchat quite literally gets treated like TikTok. There's people that go on Snapchat and treat it like TikTok, but they pay you. And as a Canadian content creator, I don't get paid for any of my content whatsoever. It's harder to get brand deals as a Canadian content creator because people don't want to send product to Canada, which was part of trying to get my dual citizenship. Because I'm Indigenous, I qualify for dual citizenship with Canada and the United States because of the J Treaty. However, and you have to get what's called a blood quantum letter to prove that you're Indigenous enough. So I got the blood quantum letter, but then the results of the election were coming in. And unfortunately for me, I do not want to be on a list of minorities within the United States because that is very scary to me. My son is not white either, and I don't want to be traveling with him ever into the United States as anything but a Canadian citizen. I don't want to be detained. I don't want to get arrested for anything and not be a Canadian citizen as like the priority, if you know what I mean. Because if I were to just go to the United States and be an American as a minority coming back through the border, it can be very as simple as them just saying, no, you're not allowed to leave, or no, you're not allowed to go back. And then I would be stuck in a country that I don't know, with less options available to reach out to my government. So with Orange Cheeto Man becoming the president there, I had no interest in playing Russian roulette. I also don't like the idea of, if there's any conflicts that are going to be happening, that I'm not going to be on a list of people to draft, even though I don't know if I would be outside that age range. I don't even know if they're going to allow women in the military anymore. So that's what's been running through my mind with the TikTok ban. Diversify where all my content is going, create new audiences on different platforms, post longer form content like this. But on top of that, on top of the ban, on top of the election results, my mom is going through a divorce. My mom has been with my stepfather since I was 10 years old. Basically, my dad and her split up, and within a year, she was dating my stepdad. They got married a couple of years later. They've been together since. So it's been 20 years of having this man in my life as like a sort of pseudo father figure. Like, he wasn't really involved in raising us, but he was always around, always there. So she moved here to Vancouver. I was helping her set up her apartment. I was helping her go get a vehicle. I was helping her do everything, running around like, yesterday I go on Instagram and my stepdad has blocked me. He'll never be anything but my stepdad. Like, he's always going to be my stepdad. He's been in my life for 20 years. And this man blocked me on Instagram. And my mom was like, maybe it's because of the content you post, because I talk a lot about feminism and issues within relationships, and maybe he took that personally. I just find it crazy. Like, I'm a little bit flabbergasted regardless, because I've known this man for 20 years of my life, since I was a little child. So that was weird, right? All of that. So that's been my last couple of weeks. Why I haven't been posting on here, trying to get everything up and running. Then the inauguration happened. We all saw what happened there. And if you haven't, Elon Musk decided to do something that, an arm gesture that, to say it's not good would be an understatement. It's like the most banned arm gesture in the world. He decided to do it. And the entire internet, half the internet that likes him, is doing two things. They're pretending it didn't happen in the way that it happened. They're gaslighting everyone, and they're pretending it's called a Roman salute. But I'm sorry, if you had to explain to a blind person what Elon Musk did, the only thing they would know is the thing that no one does because of what. You know what I mean? I'm trying to talk in code here because, again, content violations. But I've been struggling with that because as someone whose family is Indigenous, and I'm biracial, so it's on my mom's side, we largely didn't talk about our Indigenous ancestry growing up into my teens, anything like that. And that's largely due to residential schools. And the things that were done, like my great-grandpa is a survivor of the schools. And that caused generational trauma in my family. A lot of the issues I've dealt with, a lot of the things I talk about, stem from the trauma that was inflicted upon people in my family. So Elon Musk doing that and not being arrested or facing any consequences, and the ADL, which is the people who are supposed to speak up to protect Jewish people, gave him a pass. And that has also thrown me for a loop because I don't like what's happening in, watermelon. I don't like that. Obviously, as an Indigenous person, I don't like that. I'm against it. And it's not because I don't like Jewish people. It's because I don't like people being unalived. But Jewish people, I grew up next door to a lady that we referred to as Granny Lily. Granny Lily was like, as the name says, like a grandma. I used to have sleepovers. She taught me how to garden. She taught me how to care for plants. She had a little bunny. I was always at her house. I was always listening to music. I was always, she cooked with me. She taught me so many things. She was a major, major, major person in my life up until I was like 9 years old. And she survived Auschwitz. So what happened is so close to home for me, especially as having family that survived residential schools. So I have such a hard time with this entity doing things, but then also defending the actions of someone who's clearly, like, it's so on the wrong side of history, I don't even know how to comprehend the fact that we're here. So I've been crashing out with that for days now. And then this morning, I wake up. So a week ago, I changed my username because of the ban. I changed my username from just my first and last name to YT at just my first and last name. And I changed it because I saw other creators doing it because TikTok was getting banned. So it was a way to get people to know that they had other platforms. And I was like, oh, that looks like a really good idea. So I changed my username. Now, when I did that, I got a content violation. And obviously I appealed it. And if you haven't been a creator, you get content violations all the time. All the time. Sometimes I get 1 a day, sometimes I get 5 a day. You appeal them, and if you win the appeal, that means that there was no content violation found, right? Like, it's an automated system. So it honestly just goes through. You appeal it, and then someone, like a person, actually looks at it and says whether or not, yes or no, this was a violation. So when I got the appeal for my account, I appealed it, and they found that there was no violation. So I'm like, okay, sweet. There was nothing wrong with this. You can only change your name 1 time every 7 days on something like TikTok. So I didn't change my name after that because there was no violation, and I couldn't change my name. This morning, I woke up, and I get the same content violation. And I'm like, that's really weird. So again, I appeal it. I go to my For You page. I scroll 1 video, 2 video, and instantly I get a pop-up saying my account has been permanently banned. Permanently banned. So I go through and I like click that this isn't real, like this shouldn't have happened, I don't believe this is whatever, and they say thank you so much for your feedback, and then they log me out of my account. And I was like, what the fuck? Okay, so I'm like, I've appealed it. I'll wait and see, because it says like we'll get back to you in 1 day. So then I'm like heading to the gym, call my mom, and then I'm like, she's like, well, did you file an appeal? I'm like, yeah, I did. And so then I try and log into the account. And when I do log into the account, it tells me my account's been banned. Do you want to submit an appeal? I'm like, so it doesn't even register that I've submitted an appeal. So then I submit an appeal. And they tell me it'll take up to 7 days to hear back from them. And I'm like, okay. So then I put on my Instagram stories, and I sent it. I put on my stories, but then I sent it to every single creator that I personally know. Because I've gotten to know, like, we're not friends, we've never met a lot of these people, but like when you start making content that's performing well, other larger creators follow you and I follow them back. And so you establish this kind of like pseudo friendship, like it's like a coworker friendship, right? Like it's not like we know each other, we're gonna go out and get drinks, but it's like, oh, hey Tim, like checking in for the day. At least that's the way I view it, is like it's more like coworkers. So I send it to every single creator, because I have so many friends that have large platforms, and every single one of them is shocked, right? Because out of nowhere, it's just 70,000 people that I've convinced to follow me, and all this content I've poured hours and hours into for the, like, you know what I mean? Like it's all gone. Like all my content's gone, because it's not repurposing on any platforms. And it's not repurposing on any platforms because it doesn't exist anymore. So there's no content. Like, I don't think I can express how much content. Like, I had YouTube uploading 5 days, 5 times a day, 7 days a week. And I would not run out of content being uploaded to YouTube for over a year. That's how much content I have. And it's all gone. And if I don't win the appeal, that's all gone. That's a hard pill to swallow. I can't lie. But then, so when I log in and see that it hasn't been appealed, and I appeal it, it shows me what my violations were. One was one that happened in November, and it was me posting my client's progress, and I got a content violation for that, and I appealed it and lost. They didn't like that I was posting someone as like, here, look at her progress. So that sucked, but that's the only one. And then one more that was created, get this, January 1st, 1970. Which means that it was like an automatic system glitch error, or someone else went in and manually gave me a TikTok guideline violation. So hopefully I win the appeal, because then I sent out multiple emails today to all of the support accounts. I reached out to them on Twitter. I reached out to them on 2 Instagram accounts. And I'm hoping and praying that my account gets reinstated. And I'm hoping that this is due to them unbanning the Americans and there being like a glitch in their algorithm or their guideline monitors. But I can't make any videos addressing it on another account, because if you do that, that is considered a community guideline violation. So if I go and create, because I had another account, it's just my first and last name fit. And it was an account I was just going to post my fitness content to for clients. But if I post on there and publicly state it, what can actually end up happening is then my account officially actually gets banned, because now I have officially actually violated community guidelines. So I have to play a waiting game for the next 7 days, which I guess is kind of, in a way, it's kind of good, because I can breathe and I can just take some time away. This weekend, we're supposed to go somewhere, me, my mom, my little guy, and have a weekend off. But if you're wondering why you can't find my TikTok, if you're wondering why any of my accounts aren't uploading other content anymore, and if you're wondering where I've been or why I haven't been posting, it's just been that my brain is going 1,000 miles a minute. I have 1,000 things to do, and I have a limited amount of time to do things. Because, for example, today, I have to leave here in the next 50 minutes to go and pick up my son from school. And I love my son, but I can only manage to do everything because I have the job I have, which is online personal training. If I had a regular 9 to 5, I would have to quit in order to get my son to and from school. And that's insane. That's wild. And it's purely because school starts, at least here, at 9 a.m. and ends at 3 p.m. No one's job starts at 9. And even if your job started at 9 a.m. and you were off at 3 p.m., that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 6-hour day. If you had a job that could give you 6 hours per day, you still have to get to and from. I don't know how other moms do it, moms who have actual careers, they must pay for childcare, and I know it's very common here for people to pay for nanny shares, but I'm just trying to juggle everything. And yesterday, I was so overwhelmed by everything going on before my account was banned, before that even happened. I was so overwhelmed by what I was seeing that I just played Minecraft all day. And that's a trick that I learned through therapy, is that sometimes dissociation is not a bad thing. Sometimes dissociation is exactly what your brain needs to feel better, to give you a little bit of time off from thinking about everything going on. So that is what I plan to do this weekend. I'm going to try and upload this by the end of the week. Have this up. And I know I saw someone comment on the last one that they're going to stop giving me ideas because they don't want me to feel overwhelmed. Your comments never overwhelm me. The one thing I've learned through creating content for so long is hate comments, good comments, all of it are good. And I appreciate everyone who engages with my content. Through posting on other platforms, I realize hate comments come no matter where you post. And they're almost never warranted. But sharing what you find important and what you value and what you want to hear more about, or my opinions on, I appreciate. Because I feel like those people are really engaging with the content and value the content. And I'm trying my hardest to put out valuable content. And that's why I'm trying to repurpose all my content as well, because there's so much value in what I've already posted. And I wanted to share that on other platforms. So hopefully we continue to do that. I know that on Monday, I'm supposed to record a new podcast episode with someone else. Someone's supposed to come on. I've been asking so many people to come on, but she wants to do it. I don't know if she's going to be a regular. I don't know if we're going to do our own podcast together, because I feel like adding a second podcast with someone else at this point might be overwhelming. But if I don't have a TikTok account, I don't have to sit on TikTok and create content on there. I can do it on other platforms. If you would like to see this on Spotify, I don't know if other people value seeing this on other apps. I can try and get it up and running there. Let me know what you think. I appreciate you for checking in. And if there's any specific topics you want covered, I am more than willing to do that. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of your week. And I hope that your week has been better than mine. Because personally, this week has been a dog pile. But thank you for checking in, and have a good day.